All right. Good morning, Tyler Dial.
Hey, buddy.
Great to be with you. So where are we?
We're at my management office, Make Wake Artists.
It's a pretty cool place.
We stole one of the manager's rooms.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
So you got a pretty big week.
This is exciting. It's the week I've been... Hey, we should probably do that. This is the week I've been dreaming of, dude. This is everything I've moved here to town for, to put out an album. You know, I feel like people put out singles and EPs, but I don't know. I don't think you're legit until you have your first record out. So
Let's talk about that thanks. Let's talk about that for a moment. So Electric West coming out Thursday. You've got a release show at the end. Really excited to be there. I'm sure it's going to be a great time and a lot of new music. And you've released a fair amount in the last year. You know, we met maybe a year ago, 15 months or so, and you didn't have as much out there yet. And I remember we had a conversation about social media, and you were kind of saying, how much time should I invest in this? Is it worth it? But it seems like in the last year you've really, I don't want to say come into your own, because you already were, and obviously very comfortable in your own skin and figuring out kind of what kind of artist you wanted to be, but you have, in a sense, introduced yourself to the people. What has that journey been like over the last year?
thank you, Max. I mean, it's been hard. I if it were up to me, I would post only film pictures and like film video on my Instagram. But no, I mean, it's such a different world. I got into this, not to be an influencer, but to write songs, produce songs, and play shows, and do the occasional like music video. And I always thought it would be cool to kind of build a fantasy world, and that's where the idea for my album Electric West first kind of came about. It felt like the title Electric West had such a visual identity, and so I've been really trying to figure out how to play in that realm. But what I've learned over the last couple of years is people want to see what your life is really like, and they want you to be accessible and not create a fantasy world, but show them like your reality. And so I think, thank you for saying that. I think lately I've just been trying to combine the two, I guess. I guess I'd live an Electric West lifestyle being from Arizona, and the kind of stuff I'm into, and still post a lot of film pictures and stuff. So, I'm trying to figure out the social media thing as we all are. I feel like I have this conversation with every one of my artist friends and every different manager I talk to, but no one has really figured out how to crack the code. And the only way to do that is just by posting and trying things.
Probably were listening to more mainstream music, but you liked country.
Yeah.
Tell us about that evolution.
Yeah, there's not a huge country. There wasn't growing up, country fan base in like 5th grade. Everyone was listening to Eminem and Lil Wayne. And, my dad always drove us to school, and he was always a Garth Brooks guy, George Strait, the Eagles, that kind of music. And so that's what I grew up on. I grew up learning how to play Eagle songs. He had chord sheets in my dad's guitar boxes and stuff, and we're doing an Eagles medley at the release show on Thursday night. But yeah, so I grew up wanting to be a country singer, and it was kind of random being from Arizona, but I think that's also kind of what makes me, because there's not a lot of, besides Dierks Bentley, there's not a lot of people from Arizona, Mark Weistrach from Midland and stuff. And so I kind of started writing songs in high school, and my dad was like, I was like, I want to move to Nashville, and I want to do it. He's like, well, you better start learning how to write songs. And so after soccer practice, would stay up till 11 to 1 in the morning and would write songs. And my sister would call me, and she'd be like, hey, I'm trying to sleep here. So
And where did you find your inspiration back then? You were still very young, had a lot of life to live.
a lot of Keith Urban, pretty much country radio.
Of course, we learned from Taylor Swift.
Yeah, oh my God, dude.
She in her entirely self-written album that she just re-released.
Oh, dude, I mean, that Speak Now record was huge for me. I mean, back then in high school. I mean, to be honest, I don't listen to Taylor Swift. I'm not a Swiftie, but back then, back then she had offered so much hope, because she was a young person making music and succeeding, and I was young, and I wanted to write the kind of songs, love songs and songs about high school and stuff like that. So
I mentioned it because she wrote that entire album in her bedroom when she was in high school.
It was super encouraging, and I always knew I was going to move to Nashville. Had a couple offers to play Division I soccer, but tore my ACL senior year and ended up getting into University of Texas, which I didn't expect to get into. But I was like, dude, that would be the perfect place to, there's a big Texas country scene down there, and we could, play shows on the weekends in live music capital of the world. So I went there and started a band and lived in Nashville every summer of college. And you basically have been here for 6 years now, trying to make it happen.
So when I think about you, I do think about geography. I remember that you spent a fair amount of time out in Colorado. Of course, one of your, I think, greatest songs, Damn Denver.
Yeah, my dad lives in Aspen now.
Right.
Yeah.
So, the outdoors seems to really factor into your whole identity.
Thank you. Yeah.
I know that you're very active. I think you do different kinds of biking and other things. But maybe talk about geography. So obviously Arizona helped form you, but Texas, it seems like, really has a central place in your story.
Yeah, my dad. I mean, first of all, I think Texas is just such a big part of country music. I think a lot of it started there, for me at least, like the Texas Playboys and Willie and all those guys, and the outlaw movement that I listen to a lot of that music today. And my dad's from Texas, so I grew up saying y'all, and he wanted to get into UT and couldn't, and it was cool when I did, but Texas really shaped me. I didn't really know that Texas country existed until I moved there, because I was such a big country radio, pop country guy. And I fell in love with that Texas, authentic outlaw thing. And so I hope that a little bit of that kind of seeps into my music. Yeah. Certainly has over the years. And just, cutting my teeth in Austin is I couldn't think of a better place to do it. I thought about moving to Belmont and moving to Nashville for college, or Vanderbilt I tried to get into. And I'm so glad I didn't, because I think being from, cutting my teeth in Austin and not, coming up in Nashville made me a little bit more of an outsider.
Yeah.
And
let's talk about the evolution of your sound. Mm-hmm. How would you describe it?
Man, well, I it's funny. Every time I'm making a project, I'm like, this is my sound. This is me. We put out an EP that I had some guys in Nashville produce when I was a senior in college, and I hadn't cut my teeth in the studio yet or in the writing rooms in Nashville, and so I didn't really know what type of artist I wanted to be. I didn't have enough experiences, and so we put out this EP called Repaint, and I wrote like 2 out of the 5 songs, and it's very like electric, kind of different, kind of, I don't know if I'd call it poppy, but definitely not like a country sound. And we put that out, and it helped I'm so glad we did that, because I learned a lot about that experience, and it opened a lot of doors for the writing community in Nashville when I moved here, when I graduated. But I haven't put out music for I kind of wrote songs for 4 years before I started putting out music from this record, because I really wanted to take the time to figure out what I have to say, who I am, and throughout that process, I really found collaborators that I think are better than me, but also I think we connect on a soulful level, right. And I think that's important. And so, I guess my sound has evolved, and what's funny now is this record I'm putting out, Electric West. I love it, and I'm so excited about it, but all these songs are like 3 or 4 years old now,
right?
Because I've been building the team, and you put out an EP, and then you do singles, and you do an album, and I already have another album written that we're gonna go record and probably hope to put out next year. That is totally different, and it's a little more indie. I don't know. It's hard to call it like Americana pop, but I don't know if it's gonna be a country album. There's definitely country in it, but I don't know if every song's like, a country song.
Yeah, I mean, I hear it's very soulful. There's a lot of kind of funk, the groovy kind
of
sound.
Yeah, that's cool. We have a lot of songs on Electric West that probably could have fit on the next record, like Sad Cactus and Bougainvilleas, and some of those that are like, what is this? Like, I love that. I would love to be just a singer-songwriter at the end of the day and not necessarily put it in a box, so.
Right. So let's talk about your visual aesthetic, because I was thinking similarly. You put out some visualizers and other things around Sad Cactus.
Yeah.
Kind of cool. Who's helping you do that? Or is it something that you're doing, staying up all night? Creating.
That's a good question. Well, for the EP we put out last year, we worked with Cece Dawson, who does all the Lainey Wilson stuff, and she's incredible, and I've learned so much from her, and I'm always talking to her and getting her thoughts and feedback on stuff. But lately, I've actually been directing and editing my music videos and lyric videos myself. And
Wow.
you know, I grew up skateboarding, and we used to make skateboarding videos and like random like almost like Jackass style videos.
Yeah.
And I loved using like iMovie growing up, and now I use Adobe Premiere. But I feel like I have such a visual mind, and I love exploring that. Yeah, so I've been doing a lot of the music videos lately. Probably part of that is because of the budget. Sure. We're a little limited, so if I'm able to hire like a cinematographer and Cece told me, she was like, dude, you're producing and pretty much directing the videos that we're doing. You should just do yours. And that gave me a lot of confidence to go do it. And I like, there's things about the Sad Cactus video I would change, and the videos that we have coming out that I would change, like the Electric West video that comes out. We shot 3 years ago. Wow. And we never made a video for it because it wasn't coming out anytime soon. So I sat down to make this lyric video. I'm like, man, I have come so far. Like, I would change so many things about this, and I'm really excited about this next record to kind of dive into those visuals. And I think it's cool when every album has a different look and a different feel and a different sound. And I still want to continue to play in that Electric West world. I feel like that is me and will always be, where I'm from and who I am, and has that identity almost in the same way like the Rolling Stones' tongue is like their thing. Like I feel like the lightning bolt and the cactus is me.
Right.
But for this next record, I just feel like it's a different, maybe less desert, a little more like coastal beach thing. So
okay.
Yeah.
I could see that. So you signed with Virgin.
Yeah.
And that was how long now?
We signed with them probably a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Yeah. So what has that been like? I mean, I assume it's a dream come true.
Right? Oh my gosh! I mean, they have such a history in music, and when I first heard they were interested, I was like, that's crazy. What I've learned, over the course of the last couple of years, like whether it's with my management company or the publishing deals or Virgin, it's like you still have to be in charge of your destiny, and no one's gonna do anything for you. And Virgin's been amazing. Like I am so grateful for their investment in me and believing in me, and they're still doing a lot of good work with me, and it's been amazing. But at the end of the day, it's got to be me that's making things happen. So
I saw you at CMA Fest and took some video, and recently posted a video of Left of Center. I don't know if you read the caption.
Thank you for that. That was cool.
Yeah,
I remember. I do remember.
Yeah. And I love that lyric. In fact, I've been told my dad about it. This Left of Center, because that's where the heart is. So you're wearing your heart, your politics on your sleeve.
Yeah.
Do you feel like country music is a safe space for that point of view?
That's a heavy question. I think so. I do. I mean, you look at people like the Brothers Osborne, who are outspoken politically and are one of my favorite bands, and people like Eric Church. I think country is such a safe space for that. Would I say, I don't know, like if that song turns off conservative people, and that's not really what I'm trying to say, that I'm like a liberal. I'm not either one. I'm I'm down the middle kind of guy. But so sometimes I wonder if that song doesn't get picked up from a country perspective, just because it's more of a conservative fan base, and people would think I'm saying I'm like left of center. But really, it's more about the fact that I tell stupid jokes, and I'm not like the coolest dude, and all that kind of stuff. I'm just a pretty weird guy, so that's kind of what I'm trying to say with that one. And I think we all are. I think we're all like unique in our own way, and left of center in our own way. I don't think there's a phrase right of center. So it's like, sure. No, I think we're all weird, and that's what that song's about, really, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're in any way going against the grain with some of your music?
I always want to do something different. I don't know if against the grain. I feel like that phrase makes it sound like there's like an agenda or something. Mm-hmm. I don't have any agenda. It's just to make great music. I do, however, want to make music that is different. I don't want to be the guy that's like chasing trends or trying to be like the next Morgan Wallen or whatever. I have so many influences, and so many that are not country. So I don't know. That's a great question. Do you think I'm against the grain?
Maybe a little.
All right. I think that's cool. Yeah, like I think that means I'm doing things my own way, hopefully. But it's a lot. Sometimes it feels like a lot harder doing it that way.
Your new album, Electric West, comes out this week. We've just established a lot of the music is old, but it's still an important foundational part of your journey.
Yeah.
You've got the next album. You said it's going to be a little more coastal, a different sound, only a little less country. So what is the third album? What about the fifth? Where's Tyler Dow going?
I have these dreams. I want to do like a old school Texas swing album, and I want to do like a New York rock and roll record. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I think the main thing is just I'll write the songs and I'll go, what is this? And usually I'll find I'll write like one or two songs that I'm like, oh, that's what the next record should be like, and so I'll probably every time I'll go into a session, I'll play people those songs and be like, how can we kind of channel this? I listen to a lot of Tame Impala and weird, the Strokes and weird indie rock stuff, and so that's where if I could make an indie rock country album, country record, that would be awesome.
Can it still be indie when you're signed with a major label?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
More as a genre, more so.
Yeah, that's funny. I do think it's weird that people like Remy Wolf is an indie artist, but she definitely has a record label. So independent can mean so many different things, I think.
Let's talk then for a minute about your influences. Mm-hmm. And you've mentioned several artists who you found as influences, and would love to hear more about that. But also, Nashville, very collaborative songwriting town.
Yeah.
So who are the writers in Nashville or elsewhere that you most admire, that you most want to write with, and maybe haven't, or who are those who you have?
Well, Andy Skibb, who produced this record, is one of my favorite producers, and he has a sound and a style that I just absolutely love, and it's kind of the stuff that we make. He totally understands what I want to do, and we have another woman that has probably written 3/4 to a half of the record with me, Melissa Fuller, who's just incredible. She's from Wyoming. She has pop sensibilities, but she combines that with the western country thing that she does, and so I have and I have so many other collaborators and writers I love to work with. There's guys down in Austin, other people here in Nashville. I think there's going to be a lot of Andy and Melissa songs on the next record too. We wrote songs like Damn Denver, Sad Cactus, Bougainvilleas together, a ton of stuff. She wrote Running Downhill and If I Knew Now What I Knew Then with me, and a bunch of songs on the record. So I think from an influence standpoint, I get male Casey Musgraves a lot, which is a huge compliment because she kind of does that against the grain, left of center stuff, and I guess vibey music, a lot of major 7 chords and stuff. If I could strike the balance between Casey Musgraves, Macy Cusgraves, and John Mayer, I think that would be my sweet spot. I love how John Mayer makes records that are, every record's different. It's a chapter in his life. It's a body of work. It's him. He has country influences on a lot of them and stuff like that. And I think that's it's the most stereotypical thing for a singer-songwriter in Nashville to be I love John Mayer. But,
Well, I also love John Mayer.
Yeah.
Despite maybe some of his personal foibles.
Yeah, he's on a redemption arc right now. So.
Yeah. 25 years from now, you're being inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame. Oh, 15. Okay, 15.
No way, that never happened.
All right. So somebody gets up and gives a speech before you accept your.
Oh, I've never thought about this.
What are they going to say?
I don't know. I hope people say he did things his own way and he didn't chase trends, and he, wrote songs that were timeless. I think that's my goal, which is the hardest goal as a songwriter, is to make things that stand the test of time. And I don't know if I've done that. I don't know if I ever will, but I think that's what gets me out of bed in the morning.
Okay. Well, why don't we close things out just talking a little bit about where the people can see you over the next year?
Well, I think this album release show, I think this will be the most fulfilling part of making this album, just to have all my friends and supporters and the Nashville people out there. I'm so excited about that. Hopefully my booking agent and everyone on that team will be there. So hopefully that'll help get me some more gigs. But right now, we're on the Luke Combs tour. We're playing some of the tailgates this summer. We just played Tampa last weekend. We're playing Philly. Hopefully gonna be, if not on opening for someone this fall or next year, hopefully we'll, say screw it, let's do our own shows and stuff like that. So, we're still waiting. This is like my first album, and so to finally have it out, I think will help a lot get shows, to be honest with you.
Do you have some bucket list venues that are perhaps within reach, and then some that are kind of stretch goals?
For sure. There's some in Denver, like the Grizzly Rose. Let's see what else. Like there's some in Phoenix, Crescent Ballroom, some smaller venues. I mean, the dream venues are like Red Rocks and Madison Square Garden. And,
all right.
My biggest dream would be to play the DKR, the University of Texas Stadium. But I mean, that's one of those that it's like that'll probably never happen. I mean, to be honest with you, man, like the last year or so, I moved here wanting to be like Garth Brooks and Luke Bryan and stuff like that. And the more time I've spent writing songs and living in town, it's like, dude, I just want to make music, and I don't really care about whether I win a Grammy one day or CMA Entertainer of the Year. I just want to be able to make music that connects with people and to be able to tour and support a family and just make that my life. And then I'm on my way. I still have so much work to do, but I'm really, really grateful for the team I have and the people like you that come to all my shows and support me and believe in me. So, I mean, it's people like you, dude, that like keep me going. So,
all right.
Seriously.
Well, Tyler Dial, congratulations. We look forward to Electric West coming out this week.
Thanks, buddy. It's gonna be awesome.
All
Can't
right.
wait.
Great. I'll see you Thursday.
Woo.